Good morning, everyone. I want to make a quick video as I came into church this morning. I know if you're following the news, the numbers have gone up a bit in BC. They're obviously going up in the south. And just a reminder that our philosophy here is we are trying to do everything we can to balance wisdom in going to COVID and keep from being afraid. It's a fine line to walk, and some of the things that we do as a church, I just want to remind you, we have sanitation stuff. You see that up right there. When you come into the church, sanitize your hands. When you go into the sanctuary, obviously we're wearing masks when we sing, and we're keeping into our social bubbles, sitting in bubbles, and keeping 6 to 10 feet in between those bubbles just to keep safe. There are groups using the church, some of our own, some of the community, and we think that's great. We want to serve the community because we have this community hall, this gym that's huge, and is a good space for 10 or 15, 20 people to meet. But we've asked those groups that are outside our church and our own church groups that when they're done, to sanitize the space. We've got materials for them to do that. We're doing everything we can to comply with the guidelines that Dr. Bonnie Henry has put down and to maintain some kind of connection. I do want to encourage you that the times are challenging, but we have to be creative. We have to be creative in maintaining relationship and living out our mission and worshiping together and learning together. And that's what we're trying to do. I want to encourage you in that way this week. In the Old Testament, there's the story of Habakkuk, the prophet, who says, God, why don't you do something? The things are terrible here in Israel. Why don't you do something? And God says, okay, I'm going to do something. I'm going to bring the Babylonians. And they're going to come after you. And Habakkuk says, wait a second, that's not what I wanted. And I think sometimes we've got to realize that what God does, even if it's not what we want, even if it's not something we would have chosen, can be used in ways that draw us closer to Him. COVID can actually, the way we respond to it, the way we live in it, can actually draw us closer as a body, can be a testimony to our community. All those things can happen. And Habakkuk finally comes to the realization at the end that no matter what happens, even if there's no figs blooming, if the crops fail, if everything goes bad, I will rejoice in God my Savior. And my hope is that we as a church can live in such a way during this time of COVID that says to our community, we trust in a God who cares for us, who is bigger than COVID, who enables us through the power of the Spirit to discern ways to live as His community in the middle of a challenging time. I'm excited to share that time with you. You guys, I've learned so much from you, and we learn from each other. We're excited to move forward. We'll see you at church on Sunday. And just remember, sanitize when you come in, wear a mask when you sing, sit in your bubble, keep some distance, and continue to find creative ways to develop and nurture relationships around you. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.